Every time Medicaid is on the chopping block, it's not simply a budget debate. It's a matter of survival for millions of American families. Medicaid keeps clinics open, it keeps emergency rooms at hospitals from overflowing, and it pays for nearly half of the births in the United States. In this video, we're going to break down why protecting Medicaid is more than feel good policy. It's essential to protecting the health, stability, and the future of all our communities. Hi, I'm Rafat Fields. I'm the CEO and founder of Power to Rise, and we are going to be breaking down policy issue specifically around Medicaid. Today is March 27th, 2025. We are a couple of months into the 119th congressional cycle. At the time of this video, Congress is heading into a process known as budget reconciliation. And what is happening is that the White House administration has set the tone of the agenda by promising a tax incentive package that will total $880 billion. Now, there's a lot of language being thrown around back and forth across party lines and everything else you can imagine. Here's what you need to understand. If you are new to this process of engaging in political breakdowns and conversations or advocacy related to health policy, you don't have to be an expert, because I am certainly not a deep expert when it comes to the things of policy. But I have a curiosity to learn what is going to protect our communities and give us the best opportunity for the future. And it's clear that Medicaid is a program that really stands in the gap between a lot of the people that I know and serve and walk alongside of. And this takes shape in many different ways. If you are a provider, a primary care physician, and you're working in under resourced neighborhoods, Medicaid coverage is going to play a big role in how you are compensated as a physician. If you are on staff at any of these community clinics and locations in these neighborhoods, Medicaid plays a big role in how those facilities keep their doors open and offer employment, which means income, paychecks, groceries, supporting families, all those things. So when we think about Medicaid, it is a very large and far reaching program and infrastructure, not just related to the direct resources and services it provides. It is about the interconnectedness it creates between many different programs and resources you would find in any neighborhood. The question becomes, why are we talking about Medicaid right now? You have to understand that in order to create the tax incentives that reach the tagline or the total of $880 billion, there are very few programs in the congressional budget that would create a pathway to successfully reaching that total. Medicaid is one of the few programs, because we'll have to come from Medicaid to get to those types of numbers. We've talked about the interconnectedness and the ripple effects that Medicaid creates, but let's really focus in on those direct health care costs. Medicaid is the largest source of paying for healthcare resources in the United States. When we look at things like birth rates, which tend to be in hospital settings, you can start to understand why. When you look at the totality of the US population, Medicaid covers nearly half of all US births. But this particular statistic really had me sitting up in my chair. I am sure over the course of my career I've heard it, but as I was preparing this set of policy briefings, it really got me to thinking about not what the number means on its own, but what does this number mean when you layer it against other conversations and other things that are happening in the policy landscape? Medicaid covers 65% of African American births in this country. Consider that is a full 15 percentage points higher than the nearly 50% birth rate for general US population. There are real implications behind these numbers, but we're going to focus on healthcare costs within the construct of this video because step one, even in understanding that it is the largest source of healthcare coverage in the United States, there are going to be people that kind of blend in and out of multiple pots. But just looking at it in terms of individual funding, Medicaid covers a lot of lives and therefore directs a lot of cost and spending within the system. More importantly, Medicaid provides coverage for 80 million Americans, including our children, our seniors, our dual eligibles, and low wage workers. Another key thing to consider because when we have conversations about Medicaid, it's important to understand that there is no universal profile of who a Medicaid patient is, what their life story has been, or what their day to day looks like. Medicaid beneficiaries are our friends, our neighbors, and people we do life with. It is the engine for how we keep clinics open, which has a direct relationship to ensuring we have capacity within our emergency room settings and lowers system wide costs by ensuring people are getting care from appropriate settings. This is key, and we don't need to look back much further than the last couple of years to see the impact of how this plays out. Right now, the changes that are being proposed will create an extraordinary amount of stress on the communities already under resourced. And what we saw during the last couple of years is that those places that were already serving with cracks within the system evolved into full on stress fractures. The changes being proposed in the Medicaid program right now will close doors. It is important to understand that we're already seeing some of our safety net institutions like hospitals struggling to make the payment profile work. And as these safety net hospitals and community health clinics have to make really difficult choices, people who need care are going to show up somewhere to get that care. They're going to wait until they can't wait anymore, meaning that instead of coming in when it was a minor situation and was preventable from evolving or escalating into something much worse, they're going to delay that care until they can't delay it anymore. And when they go to access care, it's going to put more strain on the fewer number of facilities that will be left after the closures. That poses substantial risk to the entire healthcare system. Whether you have private insurance, you have employer sponsored insurance, or you are a direct beneficiary of Medicaid, these changes are going to cause issues for the entire healthcare ecosystem. And we need to weigh in and share our voices right now with our legislators who are in the process of having discussions and will be going to committee to vote for these budget changes. We need to let them know exactly what we expect as members of the community. We are voting members of the community who determine the elected officials who hold these seats. We have to get our voice and our stories on the record and let them know we must protect Medicaid. It is a vital program that provides access to quality health care and improves the quality of life for all Americans. And so we must stand united in saying, do not cut Medicaid as a vehicle to fund the tax cuts. If we allow these cuts to Medicaid to stand, the long term impact of these cuts will be more costly than any tax incentive would be able to create. More importantly, it's not us alone who will bear that cost. This is a cost that will be carried by our children and generations after theirs. When we talk about health policy and changes to infrastructure programs like Medicaid, these type of impacts won't just be measured in a matter of months and years until the next political cycle. They will plant seeds that will linger rather than being confronted with how we course correct and turn this around, it's important for us to use our voice right now. Share those stories, show up at those meetings, get on the record with elected officials and let them know. Protect Medicaid. Do not stand for these cuts because it harms us all. I hope you found this breakdown of policy helpful. Please let me know what questions you have, leave them in the comments, or feel free to send me a message. All of that information will be linked below in the notes. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next breakdown. Bye.